Welcome to The Explainer. I want you to picture yourself in a bright, modern classroom. Maybe you're sitting at a neat study desk right now, notebook open, sunlight streaming in. Imagine me right up at the whiteboard, ready to walk you through one of the absolute biggest topics in biology, the three domains of life. Today, we're going to map out exactly how the incredible diversity of our entire planet is scientifically organized.
It's honestly a staggering thought, right? I mean, think about it. From the microscopic cells floating around in a single drop of pond water to a towering redwood tree, or, even you and me. How on earth do scientists organize millions of vastly different living organisms into just three basic categories? Well, to do that, we can't just look at the outside. We have to zoom way in and look at the microscopic rulebook.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover the foundational rules of classifying life. Then, we'll explore domain archaea and domain bacteria, examine domain eukarya, and finally, we'll compare all three side by side on the whiteboard.
Part 1. Classifying all living things. Let's lay down those foundational rules.
So our source reveals that sorting life into these three domains relies on three really specific microscopic criteria. First up, scientists examine the sequence of nucleotides in the cell's rNRNA, which stands for ribosomal RNA. Second, they look at the structure of the lipids making up the cell membrane. And third, they test how sensitive the cell is to antibiotics. These three features basically act like the ultimate sorting hat, deciding exactly which domain any living organism belongs to.
Moving right along to Part 2, Domain Archaea, the extreme survivors.
Within this domain, we find the kingdom Archaeobacteria. Now, that literally translates to ancient bacteria. But here is the crucial point you definitely want to write down in your notes. They are prokaryotes, which means they are simple cells without a nucleus. But what sets them completely apart is their cell wall. Unlike other bacteria we'll talk about in a minute, Archaea's cell walls completely lack a substance called peptidoglycan. That structural difference, it's a massive, massive dividing line in biology.
And because of their unique cell membrane lipids, archaea possess what is borderline a superpower. I mean, they can survive where literally almost nothing else can. We are talking about the most harsh, extreme environments on the planet. Boiling hot springs, incredibly dense salt lakes, crushing deep-sea hydrothermal vents, and even highly acidic or alkaline waters. Places that would instantly destroy other forms of life are completely hospitable to them. It's wild.
Because they live in these crazy environments, the major groups of archaea are actually named for where they thrive or what they produce. So we've got methanogens, which produce methane as a byproduct. Then we have the extremophiles. Thermophiles absolutely love the intense heat of hot springs. Halophiles thrive in extremely salty environments. And acidophiles, they survive in incredibly acidic conditions. Their names basically tell you exactly how tough they are.
Take a look at this textbook figure here. Notice how they aren't just uniform, boring little dots? They have these really varied, complex, and fascinating shapes that are perfectly adapted to whatever extreme corner of the Earth they happen to call home. Now here is the real twist when it comes to their genetics. While they are famous for these extreme environments, archaea actually exist in totally common places too, like everyday soil and oceans. They get their energy from inorganic compounds like sulfur or ammonia, and some even perform a weird type of photosynthesis that doesn't produce oxygen. But here is the kicker. Despite looking like simple bacteria, their RNA shows they are actually more closely related to complex eukaryotes, like us, than they are to regular bacteria. How crazy is that?
All right, let's shift gears to Part 3, Domain Bacteria, the true microbes.
To really lock this in, let's do a direct comparison of the two prokaryotic domains. Remember how we just said archaea do not have peptidoglycan? Well, domain bacteria are prokaryotes that do have cell walls made of peptidoglycan. Seriously, if you're taking notes on this explainer, circle that word. The presence or absence of peptidoglycan is the absolute major structural dividing line between these two microscopic domains.
Belonging to the kingdom Eubacteria, these guys are known as the true bacteria. They are all unicellular organisms, and their adaptability means they are found absolutely everywhere. I mean everywhere. They're in the soil under your feet, the water you drink, the air you're breathing right now, and even living on and inside other organisms. Structurally, they might live completely solitary lives, or they might link up to form chains, clusters, and just massive colonies of cells.
So how do these true bacteria survive? Well, most are heterotrophic, meaning they consume other organic matter for energy. But some actually have chlorophyll and can perform photosynthesis. Cyanobacteria is a major group that does this. Now, a lot of times we hear the word bacteria and immediately think of illness. And yeah, sure, some bacteria do cause diseases, but the vast majority? They aren't just harmless, they play absolutely essential roles in nutrient recycling. Literally, without them breaking down organic matter, life on Earth would simply grind to a halt.
Okay, moving on to Part 4, Domain Eukarya, the complex cells.
The defining feature of this domain is right there in the name, eukaryotes. These are organisms consisting of complex cells that contain a true nucleus. Think of the nucleus like a dedicated, highly protected vault for their DNA. They also have other membrane-bound organelles, so if prokaryotes are like a simple open-plan studio apartment, eukaryotic cells are like a sprawling mansion with specialized closed-off rooms for every single task.
Because of that incredible cellular complexity, domain eukarya is wildly diverse. It's made up of 4 distinct kingdoms: Protista, fungi, plantae, which are plants, and animalia, the animals. That means virtually everything you can see around you with your naked eye, from the mushrooms out in the forest to the towering oak trees to your pets, and even you yourself sitting there learning this right now, all of it belongs right here in domain eukarya.
Let's bring it all together for Part 5, comparing the 3 domains side by side. If we compare these side by side, looking at this figure, the differences really pop out. Over on the left, we see bacteria, smaller cells, no nucleus. In the middle, archaea. They look kinda similar in size to bacteria, but they possess that unique chemistry, allowing them to survive those crazy extremes we talked about. And then on the right, eukarya. You can visibly see they are way larger, and those complex internal structures, especially that dark, distinct nucleus, are super clear.
Let's summarize our entire lesson on the whiteboard with this definitive table. For archaea, the cell type is prokaryotic, meaning no nucleus, and the defining feature is a cell wall with no peptidoglycan. For bacteria, they're also prokaryotic, but their cell wall does contain peptidoglycan. Finally, eukarya is eukaryotic, meaning it has a true nucleus and is defined by all those complex internal organelles. This right here is the master key to how scientists categorize all life.
Which brings us to a final, kind of mind-blowing thought. We humans, along with literally every plant and animal we have ever seen, share just one kingdom within just one domain. The other 2 entire domains, archaea and bacteria, are completely invisible to the naked eye. Yet they vastly outnumber us, they survive in way harsher conditions, and they recycle the nutrients that keep us alive. So it really leaves you wondering, are we just guests living in a world that's actually ruled by invisible microbes? Thanks for joining me on this explainer today, and keep questioning the world around you.